Hello everyone, my name is Xander. I'm an ordinary person who looks at superhero movies for inspiration. One of the first movies I remember going to see in the theater vividly was with my dad. It was Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I didn't fully understand then what about the movie resonated with me. All I knew is that movie stood out and meant something to me. That feeling towards the movie I have not felt for a long time, until me and my friend one day got together to go see Spider-Verse. My friend, who is not your typical moviegoer, and at the end of the movie we both agreed that was an amazing film. When looking back on those two experiences, there was a role reversal. It was February 22nd, 2019, and when the credits rolled and we walked into the theater, this time I felt like I was my dad taking my 11-year-old self to the theater to see a great movie. By the end of the movie, I felt I was Spider-Man. I felt like I was my own hero. I felt like I was a part of the Spider family. That's how we should feel in every Spider-Man movie, because we deal with flawed characters. So I would now like to acknowledge the animators who worked on this movie in creating revolutionary animating techniques. The animation is inspired heavily from comic book art. In every frame, the image is composed of hatching, cross-hatching, and dotting to add depth, similar to comic books from the 1970s and 80s. Scenes will even include thought bubbles in pop art, especially during action sequences. I will list multiple videos in the description that will further analyze animation, artwork, and creativity that the animation crew went through to achieve this film. If you're an animator, you could learn plenty from this film. I advise you to study what makes this film aesthetic and original, and visually tell a story. Every shot, every frame of the film is an artwork in and of itself. What is not necessarily a flaw of Miles, but a limitation, is his confidence. If anyone has ever been to a new school or undergone a sudden change in your life, it's hard to be confident. In this aspect, it is a coming-of-age story. The difference between Spider-Verse and other blockbuster movies is its character aspect. Instead of flooding the dialogue with quips, the characters are forced to answer major questions like, who do I want to be? This is such a relatable topic, not only for teenagers, but everyone. It can often become confusing with so many paths to go down, especially today, with people breaking away from traditional jobs, such as being a lawyer, doctor, accounting, or financial agent, and starting their own businesses. This is important because this is what Miles' dad wants for him through traditional schooling. I myself can relate to this. It's the question, how do I be who I want to be without letting the people around me down? This is what causes Miles' insecurities. This segues beautifully into what I'd like to call the catalyst of the catalyst. Miles is assigned an essay titled Great Expectations, again with the question, who do I want to be? This naturally introduces us to Miles' uncle Aaron, the person Miles aspires to be, the cool and confident uncle who doesn't look down on Miles but understands and encourages him to be the best version of himself. In the classic shoulder touch scene, Aaron does nothing but encourages Miles to pursue his artwork and approach girls. Aaron is the example of confidence that Miles lacks. This is the foundation of their relationship. The underground scene is a beautiful scene that shows Miles and Aaron bonding over artwork. During this scene, these lines stuck out to me.
Is it too crazy?
No, man. Miles, I see exactly what you're doing there, man.
All of this is, again, representative of Miles' lack of confidence in the movie. He's not quite yet confident enough to be comfortable in his own shoes. He's comfortable being in somebody else's shoes, but not his own. And that is the area where the character growth takes place throughout the film. It is easier when people reject you when you pretend to be somebody else. It's harder when people reject you for being you. And that's what people need to understand. Miles imitates his uncle with the whole shoulder touch scene. Miles has not yet achieved his full, unique self-expression that he achieves at the end of the movie when he redesigns the spider suit, in contrast with when he bought a spider suit, again imitating Spider-Man. Throughout the movie he shifts these icons who he chooses to imitate, because it's easier to be somebody else than be yourself. Miles' spider bite is a catalyst which leads Miles back a day later to the same spot where he was bitten. Here we are introduced to the main opposition of the story, Kingpin, whose goal is to bring back his family from another dimension using the Super Collider. We are introduced to the driving goal of the film, which is to destroy the Super Collider and save the space-time continuum. But most importantly, it introduces us to the big event, which is Spider-Man getting caught in the Super Collider, causing the 5 other Spider people to enter Miles' dimension. All of this is accomplished within 25 minutes of the movie. Notice how the catalyst is caused from something personal in the life of the main character. He is not simply thrown into the situation for the simple sake of an action set piece. He was led to the place where he got bitten by his uncle, so Miles can express his artistic passion that is suppressed by his relationship with his father. This is what gives the plot meaning. Rodney Rothman and Phil Lord constructed a plot related to the main character and his relationships. Too many movies make the mistake of throwing the characters into a plot which is already established for the movie, and waiting too long to establish this plot. While throwing your characters into a plot which is already established may work for some movies, like Star Wars A New Hope, where the opposition, being the Imperial Guard, is already introduced before we are introduced to the protagonist. The character relationships are what leads to decisions that drive the plot in this direction. Darth Vader's decision to overthrow the Emperor, as an example, was the result of his locked-away morality. Do take notice that within 25 minutes of the film, all the main character relationships are established. We are dropped into the plot of Spider-Verse through the character relationships, and the plot unfolds directly around the main character. Miles is given a mission to stop the Super Collider, and it is his choice on how to act next. I have constructed a formula that outlines how Spider-Verse succeeds in its first act. Relationships equal the catalyst equals a reaction, the reaction equals discovery, and discovery equals a choice. Miles' relationship with his uncle is the relationship which leads to the catalyst. The catalyst leads to Miles' reaction to his powers, causing him to go back to where he was bitten. This leads the character to the discovery of the plot, and that discovery leads to his next choice. This is just a brief outline of the initial setup of the movie. And once again, it all starts with relationships. Character-driven movies will start and end with these relationships, and at least one of these principles previously outlined is in most good stories. If you are an aspiring filmmaker like myself, playwright, or just someone who appreciates a good story, this formula is for you. And this could be what you need to recognize and learn from a good story, and maybe even apply it in your real life. This will conclude part 1 of my Spider-Verse breakdown. I hope everyone enjoyed. I wish everyone a Happy New Year. Thank you to all my subscribers. Until next time. Bye-bye.